Divisional round, National Football League World of Matchups coming to y'all live and direct. On the other side, my man 50 Grand, Spencer the Wiz, and Blue Milk Boys Gaming, breaking down what will probably be the best game of the weekend slate when the Cincinnati Bengals head to Orchard Park to play Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, who, in my mind, were lucky to win out. They win last week. They were so lucky to win last week. I took them minus the 13.5. They should have lost that game. If Mike McDaniel was not such an idiot, they would have won that game. They would have definitely won that game with a third-string quarterback, which is really mind-blowing to me. So, a couple different ways this can go. I've been torn on this game all week long, going back and forth. It's Bills -6. I think the Bills are going to win this game, but I do think that Cincinnati will cover the 6. So, the Bills side of the ball. Josh Allen's erratic, man. Josh Allen tries to do too much. He's erratic. He's not careful with the ball, and if they're not careful here, they're going to find themselves out of the playoffs. That's number one. Number two, it's just Stephon Diggs and everyone else. I mean, I know that they've got a couple of nice little ancillary players who make a big play here or a little play there, but boy, if anything happens to Diggs, this team does not have a shot at winning the Super Bowl. And 3, I just don't think their defense is as good without Von Miller anymore. Home field advantage has carried the Buffalo Bills, and I think it will continue to carry the Buffalo Bills. I think that when these two teams played last and the whole Damar Hamlin situation occurred, I'm happy Hamlin is okay. You know, first things first, life before football. I'm glad. And I believe that Hamlin's been in the facility. I believe Hamlin will be on the sidelines. For that reason and that reason only, the Bills are not going to lose this game. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals have lost their left tackle and they've lost their right tackle. I know Joe Burrow is God. The boy, he bathes in ice water. He takes ice baths for fun, okay? He is ice cold. But the last time I saw a solid quarterback in a big-time game without both his tackles was Patrick Mahomes, who was running for his life, and he got absolutely destroyed. Patrick Mahomes doesn't get destroyed ever. He got destroyed. Not having those tackles will matter. It's going to matter. I don't care what anyone says. If you cannot protect your quarterback, you cannot win in this league, especially on the road. Now, will the Cincinnati Bengals be able to keep it close? Yeah, they got a chip on their shoulder, man. Joe Mixon has come out and said it's absolutely disrespectful that you're already selling tickets in Atlanta for Chiefs Bills. That's bulletin board material. That's a chip. You know what I mean? That's major. Do they have weapons? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, all more than serviceable. They're all great. They're great. Joe Mixon, great. Hayden Hurst really ascended this year. Defense, very much slept on. This is going to be a good game. But I think that it will be too much for them on the road without those tackles to win the game. I do like them to cover, so I will take the Cincinnati Bengals plus the 6. Has any other team got screwed over more by this situation than the Bengals? They got screwed. They would have beaten the Bills at home, got screwed there. Now they're on the road because of the seeding, got screwed there. They got screwed, man, bad. If they overcome this and they go on and beat the Bills and head to the AFC Championship game, wherever that is, they could go back to the Super Bowl. I don't think it will happen. The league, the stories that they like to push. You know, they didn't cancel that game quick enough with that Damar Hamlin situation. There's egg on their face there. They would love to see nothing more than to push the Bills into the Super Bowl. I think they got a questionable call last week, and I think you're going to see a lot of these things go the Bills' way. The league wants the Bills in the Super Bowl. Folks, if you don't think so, you have not been watching. You have to be just a casual and look at the box score. If you watch these games, they want Buffalo in the Super Bowl. They want Buffalo in the Super Bowl. So I think there's no other team that's got more to lose in the playoffs than Buffalo. Can you imagine if the Buffalo Bills lose this game, Spencer? Dude, where do they go from here? If the Buffalo Bills lose this game with everything that they've done and everything that they've got and a new stadium on the horizon, and 4 lost Super Bowls, where do they go? Where do they go? The Bills have more to lose than anybody. heads have to roll. If the Bills lose this game, Sean McDermott will get fired. He'll get fired. Someone will get fired. There's no way they can lose this game. And so when I think about what's at stake for them versus what's at stake for Cincinnati, I think the Bills win on a Tyler Bass 50-yard field goal at the gun. Your thoughts?
I'm going to be very interested in Bengals money line, because if the Bills bring in the effort they did last week and the way that they played, they'll lose by 30 points. I mean,
they got lucky.
I mean, the Bengals defense is as good, if not better, than the Dolphins. Now, I will take into account some divisional stuff in there because, like I said, I've talked about this all the time. There's just weird stuff that happens in divisional games. People make bad mistakes they're not supposed to, some wonky fumble, all those things come into account. But some of those mistakes were just like Josh Allen making bad mistakes. And if they do that again, if he plays like that again, if he has the same performance as he did last week, they will get trounced, because there's going to be a sequence in this game where Joe Burrow throws 16 straight completions and they go down and score 2 touchdowns. And if that's complemented by an interception from Josh Allen or a fumble by Josh Allen, it's over. And they will not give up a big lead because the Bengals defense is just too good. I know there's all these storylines, but there's storylines with the Bengals too, because a Chiefs-Bengals rematch it's not as compelling, but it's almost
what I want
to see. Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
And man, if Joe Burrow wins this game, the resume that this kid has in his early career is unbelievable to see what this guy, how many years has he been in the league? 4, I guess.
3,
and this
3 or 4.
3. This guy could go back to the Super Bowl again, making his way through Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, that is just, there was a while where it looked like when the old guard was making its way out that we just didn't have a crop of new quarterbacks. Like I grew up, and you have different names too, but when I grew up, I had Peyton Manning, I had Tom Brady, I had Drew Brees, I had Eli Manning, like, Ben Roethlisberger, like 5
A-Rod.
Hall of Fame quarterbacks who were making their way through the playoffs every year. And I got to see that growing up. And it looked like for a while, like that was missing, that like the next crop of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but it's starting
they're here, bro.
It's starting to shape its way now. I'm starting to see it, like this, we don't know it now, but this could be like the Brady Peyton Manning matchup that we saw for so many years. We don't call it that yet because it's so early into it, but now I can finally start to see it. And this is like a classic matchup. I mean, we're going to look back. This could be when I'm 15 years from now, the classic playoff games on NFL Network.
Is it.
This could be it,
This is it.
And next week will be it too. Like all of these guys who are now the face of the league are like, this is their time now. Like we're finally through the old guard after Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl with the Raiders next year. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, right. It's like Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, even if Lamar Jackson finds his way onto a decent team, I mean, there's guys, man. There's good quarterbacks, really good. But the top 3, the top 4, they're here, man. And they're all him. Joe Burrow is him. They're all him. Joe Burrow wins this game, bro. The Chiefs are in trouble because they are going to have their hands full. Dude, any man that stares down Patrick Mahomes 3 straight times, you have to take your hat off and pay that man his just dues. Even if he loses again, it doesn't matter. I will stand on this hill. I think Joe Burrow's been to his last Super Bowl, but boy, every week that goes by, I'm like...
Because you just don't believe it, because the situation with his offensive line, and then he'll just throw 16 straight completions. It's crazy.
So good and underrated with his legs too. I mean, this is going to be a hotly contested game, and if the Bills don't bring their A game,
will we see playoff Allen from last year, or will it be this year's?
This is the biggest game in Josh Allen's career.
By far, it's not even close.
Because everybody is like Allen Mahomes, folks. You need to be worrying about Allen Burrow right now. Joe Burrow is not going quietly into the night. It's not happening. And to get 6 points, the more I'm even thinking about, just as us talking about it, I could see a way that Cincinnati wins this game.
That's a disrespectful line. It should be 3.
That's a disrespectful line. It is. That's a disrespectful line.
Or 3.5 or something.
And for all you people out there saying that, like, if Lamar Jackson would have played last week, the Ravens would have won. I'm not so sure about that, man. Cincinnati did what they had to do in their building. They came up with the big plays when they had to. They played well enough to win. Look, that's a tough matchup for sure. But if my wife had a dick, she'd be my uncle. We can't do these hypotheticals. Okay?
I agree.
Joe Burrow is there because they won the game. It's just that simple. Now it's a different task. The only way I think that the Bills lose is if they beat themselves, and it's because Josh Allen is trying to be something that he's not. If Josh Allen is Josh Allen, they're going to win this game. If not, I'm pulling for the Bengals, obviously, because I do think the Chiefs will win this week, and I want to see that championship game and that Lamar Hunt trophy exactly where it needs to be in my building. Good luck. Enjoy the games. Cincinnati +6 is the bet.